fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hi, I'm Kevin Wolf, president of Laney's. Are you considering remodeling your bathroom? Or maybe you're interested in upgrading your kitchen? If so, you need to consider Laney's for all of your plumbing needs. Our plumbers are courteous, clean, and professional, and you can trust that they will get it done right the first time. So for peace of mind, call us today at 237-0543 or visit us on the web at laneysinc.com.
828 is just great.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
An air duct. Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody sit down. Let's go on. Down.
Well, if your speakers weren't blown out, they are now.
Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. I want to thank you
Interesting setup, Dean.
Well, we found a screaming cow. So that was I don't know if that was a screaming cow, but it was he was a
mad cow for sure.
Your audio is totally hollow there, Justin. Might want to check that out, buddy. We've got welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus, 106 in the afternoon. Temperatures at 50 degrees here at the studio, and we've seen a few breaks for sunshine, but not a whole lot. And we're looking at temperatures continuing well above normal. Normal highs this year at the mid-30s, and we're going to be in the lower and some spots middle 50s this afternoon. This is really
right on.
This is bonus territory, no doubt about it. This is nice out.
Another day off of winter,
right? That's right. We're robbing one day from Old Man Winter, no doubt about it. We're looking at cooler weather coming as we head into Thanksgiving. We'll touch a little bit more on that later, but nothing too cold and no big storms on the horizon, guys. So any travel. Bridgette must not be traveling anywhere over this Thanksgiving holiday because the weather is going to be nice. And we know how that goes.
So far, Bridgette's not traveling. So tell me about next week. There's a hint.
Next week looks fine. Where are you at? Are you
okay,
local?
South Dakota. But
yeah, you should be good.
It's probably just going to be chilly, right?
Yep.
That's what we're looking at.
No big storms. No big storms.
All fine.
Very quiet.
Maybe it's not me anymore.
90% of the time it is, Bridgette. Sorry. 90%.
Okay, fair enough. We'll go with that.
Oh, man. So what do we got on the show today, guys?
We got some fun things coming up on the show today. A few of our ag topics that we'll be hitting today, talking about the Panama Canal. Apparently traffic is backing up in there. I think we ran into a similar situation to traffic backing up in the canal. What was that, like 5 years ago? Wasn't it like a month behind schedule or something, Bridgette?
Well, let's just start right there as far as what's going on in Panama right now. First of all, there is a specific amount of water that needs to be held for all of that freight traffic to move through the Panama Canal. Ideally, it should be about 50 feet of water. And that's where it was just not that, probably in the summer and spring. But now the water level has fallen. Right now, it's probably at a draft of about 44 feet, which is the current limit. If you have less than that, you can't put fully loaded ships through the lock system. So right now they're running into problems where all of this freight that needs to get through is going to be cut by about 50% because they can't get all of these heavily loaded cargo ships through. So some of those things that you probably wanted soon might be on a ship that now has to go all the way around the bottom of South America. So you don't get it in the timely fashion that you were maybe hoping. This brings to mind that meme from 2020 at Christmas where Grandma was taking the jet ski out to the cargo ships off the California coast to do her Christmas shopping because stuff couldn't get unloaded in the ports. Few delays like that are going to be part of the problem here. And a lot of what comes through Panama is maybe not so much the gifts and toys that might be coming for Christmas. We're thinking of cargo. Especially, I think about things like grains, et cetera, that would be moving through that lock system after harvest. So those are going to be some big delays for us with what's going on down there.
So basically what I'm hearing is we need to melt more ice at the poles. Raise
Gotta
those
raise
water
that water
levels
level.
up.
Or drop a giant ice
Well,
cube. You know.
That would
Okay,
do
so
it. That would be equivalent as well.
tell me how this plays out, because this part I don't necessarily know, and maybe we got to get a map of South America up here. But there are some regions in South America, like Mato Grosso, where it's heavily agricultural. They're very dry. My guess is a lot of that runoff is probably affecting what's going on towards the canal, et cetera, and that may be part of the situation. But so far, we are just going to see some backups in traffic there.
And a question on how dry it has been. It has been very dry in South America. How's that?
It has.
How's that affect our soybean prices here? Because they're big
It
soybean
affects us
producers
a lot.
down there.
Well, and also corn. They just South America just overtook the U.S. as the number one exporter for corn globally. So that's been a big change. And one of the things that happens in South America, they can literally be planting and harvesting pretty much around the entire calendar. The best we can do is some double cropping in the southern parts of the United States. But for South America, this is going on pretty much all the time. So when we think about what happens in South America, they affect us because of corn, but also for soybeans. So you see countries like China make big buys on soybeans from South America right coming off their harvest as well, because they might have a lower cost on it. With that planting and harvesting going around on year round, they could be planting in the southern part of that continent while they're harvesting in the north. I mean, it is just so much fluctuation in what's going on with their crop. And also their planting window for soybeans lasts about 4 months, where here in the U.S., it lasts about 6 weeks. Think about the change in the number of acres that can be accomplished in that time frame, because they plant on a north-south axis where we are more of an east and west. And I'm using all these hand signals, like everybody on the radio can see me pointing these things out on a map, right? Sorry, guys.
That's what you're supposed to watch on live stream, too.
It is.
That's right. And where do we live stream? Where is it at, guys? How do they find us?
YouTube, Facebook.
Yes. Acres TV.
Acres TV.
There we go. So you're right, Dean. What's going on in South America affects our markets very, very closely. A lot of that.
So maybe we should hang on to our soybeans a little longer?
From our Here We Grow project? Might be possible, because we know that usually during harvest, there's a little bit of that dip. And we'll see if we'll start to see a rebound. I heard that as we were at news at the top of the hour, that stocks are up. The stock market's up like 200 points right now. Maybe some of our grain prices and commodity prices will go up too. And pull the trigger, Steve. Be ready to sell.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you by chance happen to know what that number is at right now?
For the stock market?
Beans?
Oh, for soybeans. I can probably find out pretty quick. If you give me a minute to do a couple of texts over here, I can find out where we're at for a cash price on soybeans right now.
Sure, yeah, it'd be interesting, because I think when we harvested last month, we were sitting around, was it $12.40 a bushel or something like that? So it'd be interesting to see if we've crossed back over that $13 mark or not, or if not, how long it might take for us to see that number again, so we can actually stop holding on to our beans and
because
get a little
back in
payday
the
out
spring,
of it.
when we were doing the planning, we were looking at about $14 beans was our estimation. But you do see changes throughout the season as to what can cycle through there. So, all right, I've sent out my message to who I think would have the fastest access to a cash price for me. So I'll hear back on that very soon, I bet.
Sure. And a couple other things that we got coming up on the show today. We have 2 other ag topics that we'll touch on. We might have time to get through another one during this segment. Pumpkin facts for your pie. That'll be a little interesting one. I'm sure there's a lot in there that I didn't know. And also higher interest rates. What's the impact that's going on for farm lending? So we're going to talk about that one a little bit as well coming up here. And our guest in the next segment, that's Casey Knapp. He's out of New York. He's an organic dairy farmer selling raw milk. And I believe that they've been doing this for 13 generations, have they not, Bridgette?
Well, they've been farming for 13 generations. They've been certified organic since 2001. And Casey's got a herd of 60 cows. So I have all sorts of questions about, are they using a parlor? Where are they selling their raw milk? Do they pasteurize any of it? Does it go off to make cheese, butter, etc.? We're going to have a lot of questions to ask Casey. And New York, believe it or not, is well known as a dairy state. You might not consider that, but it actually is true. So I think he'll have a lot of things to be able to share with us.
There we go. And if you want to join in on our conversation at any point during our show, ask a question, feel free to give us a call. You can reach us on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000, or our email inboxes. That's weatherorag@flagfamily.com for all your weather or ag related topics and questions. And also comment boxes, as we mentioned on our live streams on Facebook, YouTube. And you can also find us over there on Acres TV if you don't have access to those. So why don't we hit one more ag topic before we catch up with the American Ag Network, guys?
Well, I already have an answer for your question, Justin, about what's our cash price on soybeans right now. And I got a couple of responses. $12.85 a bushel was the response that I just got. So there's a couple things to keep in mind. That's up. It's up a little higher.
It's up a little.
Guys, it's like Vegas. Are you ready to sell? Are you going to stay? Are you going to hold? Or are you going to keep pushing forward, right? That's what
we're hanging on to Bitcoin. We're hodling for life.
Now, also before we talk about interest rates, Wednesday, just when you mentioned, Justin, that people should call in, contact us, because we love hearing the phone ring on the Red Wing Shoe phone line. Wednesday, we're going to have Ag Festivus. That is going to be where our listeners get to call in with their grievances. And I have already started getting a list of grievances on our Facebook page, some text messages. You guys can send them to us in advance. You can email me, ag@flagfamily.com, or you can just hold them so you can call in on Wednesday in this 1 to 2 o'clock hour, because I can't wait to hear how we air the grievances of Festivus before we get to Thanksgiving, because I think it's fitting to do it that way.
Do they have to be ag related?
I would like to stick with ag related.
Okay.
But I hate to tell you guys this. You guys are going to get a lot of blowback as the weather guys, because ag weather sort of goes together. I'm pretty sure you're going to take some heat on this situation.
Good. Looking forward to
Sorry,
it.
boys.
That's all right, because their hate, anger, and frustration only fuels me more.
I like a guy with thick skin. Nice.
There you go. Well, I think we ran out of time for our topic, but we have plenty of time in our last segment to hit those two last topics. Again, those will be high interest rates impacting farm lending, as well as pumpkin facts for your pie. Well, we're going to catch up with the American Ag Network. And when we come back, Casey Knapp will be joining us. Again, that's our organic dairy farmer out of New York. We're talking about selling raw milk and everything else that goes along with it. And if you have a question to ask Casey or us, again, that phone line that phone number to the studio is the Red Wing Shoes phone line, 701-293-9000. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Livestock is mixed this afternoon for the American Ag Network. I'm Richard Risvet with this market update. Live cattle futures have seen a flurry of back-and-forth market shifts today as initial buyer orders met the opening bell with an optimistic focus, following buyers stepping back into the market after last Friday's cattle on feed report. Now, with overall on-feed cattle numbers at 11.9 million head, essentially on target with pre-report estimates, traders started to back away from the protection put into the market last week before the report was released. These early gains, however, were not able to hold as futures quickly moved steadily lower and spent a portion of the day trading with firm losses. But these losses are starting to now fade as sell orders are thinning out, allowing prices to remain mixed in sluggish activity here at midday. This holiday shortened trading week will likely see mixed market direction through the entire week, with many traders likely content with positions until early next week. Cash cattle markets are quiet today, with asking prices and bids unlikely to be seen until possibly tomorrow or later in the week. Given the holiday schedule at the end of the week, packers are expected to want cash trade wrapped up on Wednesday, but overall movement during the week will also be uncertain, especially until more accurate cattle sale numbers from last week are reported later today. Box beef prices are higher, choice up 228 and select up 171 with a movement of 70 loads. We'll get a look at the livestock numbers. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
You'd never settle for underperformance. You'd never settle for less than maximum yield. You'd never settle for gaps in the stand. So why settle for anything less than DeKalb corn? DeKalb seed is for those who make outstanding performance a priority. With a broad portfolio of products bred to maximize profit potential on every field. DeKalb brand corn. Never settle. Visit DeKalb.com. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
When you're an expert on soil and crops, you're a soil scientist. When you're an expert on the weather, you're a meteorologist. And when you're an expert on soybeans, you are an Asgrow farmer. Like you, Asgrow brand is relentlessly focused on soybeans, with localized products featuring leading genetics and weed management systems. It all works together to give you maximum profit potential. Visit asgrow.com. It's all about the beans. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
Let's get a look at the livestock numbers. Live cattle December down 22 at 175.52. February down 17 at 176.62. April up 32 at 178.75. And the June live cattle, they're up 87 at 174.32. Feeders November down 73 at 228.64. January up 120 at 229.70. Lean hogs December down 50 at 70.47. February down 17 at 75.27. And the April lean hogs, they're down 30 at 81.15. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you for joining us. And thank you to Matthew, who called in and he said he sees soybeans at $13.65 a bushel from a site he was looking at. And you're right, Matthew, I would have been looking at that from a closing market standpoint. So thank you for reaching out with that information. I love when callers call in. No matter what, you always have an answer to share, and that's fantastic. And don't forget, besides sharing information like that, make sure to go to our website, click on the Hot Links button, and then make sure to nominate a family for the Warm Heart, Warm Home promotion with Legacy Plumbing. Legacy Plumbing wants to make sure that folks don't go cold this winter. And if you are in Cass or Clay County, you could be nominated to receive a new furnace from Legacy Plumbing. Make sure to fill that out. Send in those nominations. We need them by December 15th. And as the guys mentioned, weather's going to be getting a little chilly. So let's not let that slide. Let's get that done as soon as we can. So send in those nominations. And now want to make sure to welcome our guest who's maybe experiencing a little bit warmer weather than we have right now. And that is Casey Knapp. Casey is calling us from New York, Central New York. He's a dairy farmer out there. Casey, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Well, this is going to be a lot of fun. We have so many great questions to ask you, Casey, but first and foremost, tell us about Cobblestone Valley Farm, where you are and what you do out there.
Yeah, of course. So my family goes back a long way of farming here in the Northeast. We have a genealogy book where we have 13 generations of us being farmers, and we've been on this particular farm for about 5 generations. And we've done a lot of different things over the years, but now we are primarily a dairy farm, but we also do a lot of pastured beef and pork and poultry and a couple other things as well. I did want to share one thing up front. We actually don't sell raw milk off the farm. It's something that we want to do, and I'm a big advocate for it, and there's some things I can share about it. But the cows that we milk, we sell the milk bulk, but we don't actually sell raw milk off the farm. So did want to share that up front.
That's okay. So let's talk about that difference. Can we, Casey? I mean, having grown up on a dairy farm myself, our milk, much like you were saying, left the farm in bulk, went to a plant where it was pasteurized, where it was heated, et cetera, and then sold. So when folks talk about raw milk and something that you would like to get into, what does that look like for you? What's the difference that would be happening?
Sure. Yeah. And I was just looking up before that it wasn't too long ago that raw milk sales became, I guess, easier in North Dakota. Is that
yes,
is that
it
the
did.
case? Maybe that's
just our past legislative session. Yes.
Yeah. So I think the main difference, and you kind of hit the major parts of it, is raw milk is milk that is comes from a cow, and you can put it right in a glass and drink it. Typically, when people are going to farms, if they want to buy raw milk, or if there are places in California, for example, where you can go to the supermarket and get it, there will certainly be like a filter that the milk will go through, and it will be kept at a cool temperature, normally between 34 or 40 degrees is a good good temperature to have it at. But that's pretty much it. Like, it will be filtered out and it will be bottled and sent to a store, or you can come right to a farm and pick it up. I would say a big another element of that is because of the regulations around raw milk and the general view of it. There's a massive amount of testing and safety procedures and things involved just to make extra sure that there's no cows with mastitis, or everything is clean and everything is kind of up to code, so that there's no concern or greatly reducing the risk or greatly reducing the concern that there would be anything wrong with it. So that said, in terms of raw milk, my view is that it's one of the safest foods that you can eat. We can get into that in a second, but I'll share just the other side that you mentioned of conventional milk that you would buy in a grocery store is going to be picked up from the farm in a milk truck. It's going to go to a plant where they do the main things that they'll do to it are pasteurizing it and homogenizing it. Pasteurizing it, there's a few different types. You can have HTST, high temperature short time. You can have UHT, which is called ultra high temperature. If you do that method and then put it in like an antiseptic container, you can have milk in the supermarket that lasts like up to a year at room temperature. And the homogenization, of course, breaks up the fat in the milk and makes it so that you don't have that separation of the fat and the rest of the milk. So some people will sell cream line milk. That is milk that is pasteurized but not homogenized. So it'll last longer on the shelf, but you'll still have that separation of the cream and the milk, which some people like, some people don't. But so that's one of the main differences of raw milk and then milk that you would buy in a grocery store that's been that's been processed to last longer on the shelf.
And Casey, what's the kind of a two-part question? What's the nutritional value? Is it nutritional value better with raw milk than the pasteurized milk you'll buy in the store? And what's the shelf life of raw milk as well?
Yeah, so the nutritional value, there are some things that are lost through the pasteurization and homogenization process. When milk is homogenized, the fat is broken down in such a way where it's a little bit harder for the body to digest. And there are some other things like magnesium or calcium that are lost in the process. But that's why you also see milk is fortified with vitamin D or calcium as well. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing that is lost are the plethora of bacteria and probiotics that are in raw milk that you don't get in the pasteurized milk, because it's heated to such a temperature that all those good and bad bacteria are killed. And I think that's the part where you see a lot of people who are big fans of raw milk. That's what they're looking for. They want to have that live food that has all those probiotics and different things that are from if it's cow's milk or goat's milk or buffalo milk or any of the ones that people get for different reasons. Those are the things that they're looking for and the things that they want in terms of the health of the product. And then for a shelf life, for pasteurized milk, I think that in general it's about 2 weeks. Again, there's different ways where you can pasteurize it and package it where it can last up to a year. But for raw milk itself, I would say you could have it safely in your fridge at the cool temperature for 2 weeks. I would just say if anyone is new to raw milk or is interested in trying it and wants to learn more about it, just to be extra safe, if you can more or less treat it like if you were to buy meat, from the supermarket or from a farm. If you buy a ribeye, you don't want to just keep it in the fridge for 3 weeks and then try and cook it, it's probably going to go bad because there's bacteria in that as well. The same thing I would say with milk. If you put it in the fridge and you drink it within the week, you'll be totally fine. There's no real issue of it. I think the one part, thinking of there's some people who love raw milk and will do anything possible to get their hands on it. Some that they don't want to have anything to do with it, and then there's some people who are maybe curious about it and want to learn more about it and explore it a little bit. I would always, I think there's different things that you can do, but just to be extra conservative about it or extra careful. Some people start with just small sips of it, just to kind of get their body acclimated to it. I don't think that's actually necessary for everyone. If you've been drinking milk your whole life, you'll probably be totally fine drinking raw milk. I drink a gallon of it a day, and have for years, and never had any issues with it. But one thing I think it's always really good to do as well too, and it sounds like this is going to be a lot easier in North Dakota now, is to visit a farm that actually produces it. You can see the animals, you can talk with the farmer, you can see their facility, see how they treat the animals and what they're eating. Are they out in pasture, or what's the quality of their feed? And I think that is that's going to be the easiest way to feel really good about the product that you're getting, because you can see the whole cycle. You can you can see the cow eating grass, and then when they're milked, and then that's what you're going to be consuming. So that's something that I would recommend if there's people who are interested in raw milk, something for them to do.
Perfect. Well, we're at the bottom of the hour now, so we have to take a break and catch up with American Ag Network. If you have any questions for Casey, give us a call on our Red Wing Shoes hotline, 701-293-9000. That's 701-293-9000. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay, so what do Americans do at least once per week? Yep, get their vehicle washed. Take some pride in that ride and take it to Tommy's Express Car Wash. Yeah, it's a system to get you the best car wash, fast, and your vehicle looking great. 4 Tommy's Express Car Wash locations in Fargo on 32nd Avenue and across from West Acres, and in Moorhead on South 8th Street and on US 10. So take care of that fly ride at one of the 4 Tommy's Express Car Wash locations in Fargo, Moorhead. Tommy's Express Car Wash.
We're talking with Mark Wagner from ND Estate Services. Mark, what are the deciding factors to determine a person's estate plan?
What's a determining factor is if you have numbered accounts or deedable property and you do not want court oversight or a probate on those assets or even guardianship on those assets when you're incapacitated. A revocable living trust is going to prevent all of that if it's properly funded.
Find out more. Call Mark, 701-318-0908, 318-0908, ND Estate Services, Mark Wagner.
Pucklet Chevrolet Buick GMC in Valley City makes it easy to find your next Chevrolet Buick GMC or pre-owned vehicle by offering a great selection at our best prices possible.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker. WDAY News First. Minnesota officials plan to announce a big donation to the state's regional food banks. Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan are scheduled to announce a $5 million allocation to the 7 food banks today. The money will come from American Rescue Plan Act funding. It's the second time this year the governor has sent money to the state's food shelf program. The Minnesota Department of Transportation will use wireless emergency alert technology to notify drivers about winter road closures. The system issues the same alerts that are commonly sent during national emergencies or Amber Alerts. Alerts will be sent to every wireless phone in a 1-mile radius of the highway affected, and to drivers who are 10 miles away from a closure location. 3 teens were hurt in a crash in Lidgerwood. The State Patrol says a 13-year-old girl lost control of a car while driving on a county road early Sunday. The car struck an embankment and vaulted before ending up in a field. And Senator John Hoeven is commenting on Motor Coach Industries keeping their operations in Pembina, saying it's a huge win for the town of 503 people.
They had planned to close down. Initially, it was June of this year.
Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Mike Lindell is always looking for ways to solve everyday problems. Have you ever picked up a towel set because it felt really soft in the store, but then you go home to use it and it's not very absorbent and it doesn't dry you?
That's why MyPillow has developed the MyPillow towels. The 6-piece sets have 100% long staple Shipper cotton.
It is a combined ring spun cotton that make the towels softer and more absorbent than ever. Towels that actually dry you.
And right now you can receive a 6-piece set for only $29.98 with promo code WDAY.
Go to MyPillow.com right now and click on the radio podcast specials to receive this amazing offer for only $29.98 on the 6-piece set off MyPillow towels. Just go to MyPillow.com.
That's MyPillow.com, promo code WDAY.
Click on the radio podcast special and enter promo code WDAY or call 800-875-0644.
And right now you can receive a 6-piece set for only $29.98. MyPillow.com, promo code WDAY.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
Got Weather and Ag in Focus, but it's never you, our listeners. Thanks for joining us. Please remember that at North Dakota Estate Services, it is their job to take a complicated process and make it much more simple for your family. And we know how vital being simple right now can help in these situations. They will educate your family on a number of important things like how to avoid probate, protect from guardianship, save you taxes, and most importantly, have that peace of mind. Contact Mark at 701-318-0908 or visit ndestateservices.com. And we do indeed have a listener who has a question for Casey, and that is Jeff. Jeff's on line 1. Jeff, you want to go ahead with your question for Casey, our guest today, the dairy farmer from New York?
Yeah, the milk comes from New York?
Yep,
Wait, say that again, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. Hello?
Yeah, Jeff, you kind of cut out there. Can you say that again?
Hey, I said, so we have to go to New York to get this.
Oh,
it's actually going to be easier in North Dakota to get raw milk than in New York. So.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, my question was, so I'm a family of one. So how could I?
Jeff,
Jacob, can you try and
Jeff's breaking
get
up
that
there.
Fixed?
Yeah, we're having trouble hearing
Maybe
Jeff.
we
I
come
think
back
what his
to
question.
Jeff.
I think what his question was, he's a family of one, and I think he was curious how to either access it or store milk maybe for longer term. And I think, Casey, what you were saying was just like anything else, pay attention to it when it's in your refrigerator, right? Whether it's raw milk or pasteurized milk.
Yeah, that's the basics of it. I think it can actually last a pretty long time. There's other things that you can do with it, but a good measure would be just within a week. Drink it within a week. A gallon is fine, or a half gallon is fine. If you did want to have it last longer, you can always freeze it and then thaw it out later if that's what you have to do. But always best to have something fresh. So that's what I would recommend.
And we've got Jeff back on the line. So Jeff, can you go ahead with your question again? You kind of broke up there right at the end.
Yep, sorry about that. He answered one of my questions with the freezing. So yeah, so I'm a family of one. So even if I used to get it from a farm in North Dakota here somewhere, and they'd bring it into West Fargo once every couple of weeks or something and stuff. And then it was just too inconvenient for me, and I couldn't always meet him there or whatever. But so you answered the question about the freezing. But then how do you know if it's gonna go bad? I mean, are you gonna know it in the taste or something? Like, say if I get it and it's in the fridge for a week or a week and a half.
Yeah, it's the same type of thing. If you smell it and it doesn't smell good, probably you could give it to the dog or give it to the cat or something.
Okay.
But that's what I go off of, is just the smell. But again, it can last a pretty long time.
And Jeff, for somebody that hasn't tried raw milk before, any of our listeners, can you tell a big difference between store-bought milk that's pasteurized and homogenized compared to raw milk?
Oh, yeah, I could for sure tell the difference. And for me, it was a lot better as far as I was concerned. And I introduced it to my grandkids, and they're like, ew! But we grew up on a dairy farm, and we used to we grew up on a dairy farm, and sometimes we'd squeeze it right out of the cow's tit and drink it squeeze it right into our mouth. And there was a family of 9 kids, and we'd just take it right out of the bulk tank and into the house and drink it. But a lot of times we had skim milk because my brother stole all the cream off the top every time because he just wanted the cream. He'd put that on his cereal, and then we'd have skim milk. So we had to kind of get to it before he did. But yeah, so I could tell the difference. It was really good. And I just would like to go back to it because, I got even like the organic stuff from Walmart, the Great Value brand and stuff, and it's organic and everything, so that always gets everybody's attention and stuff. But I mean, it's good. Like I just bought my daughter for the kids 8 gallons, and it's good till February. So I'm wondering how they do that when you look at the ingredient list and there's nothing preservative in there at all.
Yeah, that's if you caught the earlier part, that's probably a combination of the method of pasteurization and the packaging is what is going to make it last that long.
Got it. So how do we get your milk? Like if you're in New York, how do we get your milk?
Well, I would say there's a number of different sites that you can go to find raw milk close to you, or if you're traveling somewhere else. The one that I always go to that's really nice is just called getrawmilk.com. You just put in your address and you can find different places. And that would be my recommendation if you want to find some raw milk near you. But if you're ever in New York, let me know and we can show you our operation, our farm, and what we do here.
All right. Well, Jeff, thank you for calling in. Appreciate that. Real quick, Casey. So price-wise, I've never checked out the price of raw milk. How does it compare with your store-bought milk?
It will be more expensive in general. I think that there are places in California, so we'll use that as the extreme, where it can be like $15 or $20 a gallon compared to maybe $8 or $9 for a gallon of organic milk, and then it's probably $5 or $6 for a gallon of conventional milk in the supermarket. So it is generally more expensive, and but the raw milk people will find it and they'll seek it out and they'll pay a premium for it because they value what the product provides.
Justin, Bridgette, have you guys tried raw milk before? I have not myself.
I has not either.
Bridgette?
So growing up, we did drink milk right out of our bulk tank, but we also had a pasteurizer, so we could pasteurize our milk. And I still have my folks's. It's a container about this big. You could do a gallon of milk at a time and skim the cream off the top, and then essentially we were left with like a whole milk that didn't have the cream. And so, Casey, when you said earlier, that you wanted to move to selling more raw milk, what's your reasoning in wanting to do that? Is that due to capture just a different market, or do you feel that you're looking at outweighing the health benefits versus pasteurized milk, et cetera? What's making you want to do that change with your dairy?
It is a move towards providing the healthiest possible food for our customers and people around us in our community. I would never knock any type of dairy farmer that is running a business and doing things that they want to do them. But for my view on health and how to run a farm and what I would want to do for the people around me, that's the direction that I would want to go in. It is primarily a health, just a health and freedom motivation. And whenever I don't have any credentials as a nutritionist or anything, but I generally view food as I want it to be nutrient dense. I want it to be easy to digest, and I want it to be really close to where it came from. I think if you can look at food through those, find some things that are going to be really healthy for you. So it's things like raw milk and eggs and organ meats and other dairy products and fruits that are close by. And I think that's why the topic of raw milk is always, it's not, there's some people who think raw milk is the absolute best thing ever. Other people are on the other end of the spectrum. And I think, the raw milk itself is probably, somewhere in between, obviously closer to the better side, but it's not the most important thing in the world, or it's not going to cure everything. But I think the people that are really excited about it see it as a flagship product in that category of food that is really healthy. It's easy to digest. It's made for a newborn baby, or a calf or a kid to digest and consume right away. So it's really easy on the digestive system of a person. It's got tons of nutrients in it, and you know exactly where it comes from. It doesn't go through the whole supply chain of supermarket products where you have no idea really what you're getting. So that's my motivation of moving in that direction.
So for people who are trying to move in that direction from just your general dairy to doing more raw milk, how does one go about making that transition? Is it a bunch of regulations or programs you need to get associated with? How are you able to go from just doing regular milk to selling raw milk?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think every state is going to be a little bit different. In New York, we have the different state agencies that are going to help you through that transition. And you have to have, there's a whole number of different safety procedures you have to have in place, and different codes that you need in place. You need to have a way to bottle things and keep things clean and do testing every day. There will be people from the state that come and will randomly test the milk that you're selling. So every state is going to have their regulatory body that will be in control of giving licenses to sell. And I think that would be the place where I would start to investigate what's possible. I would never completely shut off the dairy operation and go 100% raw milk. It would probably be keeping both of them up at the same time. But that would be my recommendation.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. And Casey, do you got any website where if someone wanted to get a little more information about what you're doing over there at Cobblestone, or any social medias that people can follow your kind of operation, anything like that?
Our website is cobblestonevalley.com. You can see all the things that we sell off the farm there. We just got done doing 190 turkeys for Thanksgiving. They're certified organic and all grass fed. We processed them right on the farm. So that was a big effort to get ready for Thanksgiving, but we got that done. And then we do about 1,000 meat birds every year, chickens every year. And then we've got some pork and some beef that we sell as well. So that's our site. Bridgette and I first got connected on Twitter somehow. I don't have a big Twitter following, but the farmer Casey K is my Twitter handle. And for people who want to find out more about raw milk, there's the Raw Milk Institute, there's the Weston A. Price website, and I think those are two really good places to learn more about raw milk.
Awesome. Well, Casey, thank you very much for joining us today and talking about this a little bit. When we come back from our commercial break here, where you got a couple more ag topics to go over, we have another check on the forecast. And again, if you have any questions for us, 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes phone line. Emails again, weather or ag @flagfamily.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Don't worry about it. Just take it to Bailey's.
I purchased my dream car, a 2007 Signature Shelby Mustang, from the dealer in Scottsdale, Arizona in February. I had it transported to North Dakota. Huge mistake. Hi, I'm Bob. During the transit, the trailer hauling the Mustang tipped over due to icy roads. The vehicle that was delivered to Bailey's was unrecognizable. I was certain that the wreckage was unrepairable. The talented team at Bailey's did an outstanding job. Nightmare turned daydream.
Just take it to Bailey's.
Oh, can you imagine a stress-free Sunday with family, friends, fun, and food? You can have it when you make Barron's your new Sunday brunch headquarters. Experience a brunch like nowhere else. Your kids will love the customizable waffle bar, fresh scrambled eggs, thick cut bacon, and much more. Plus, while Mama sips on a mimosa, You can wear out the kids in the arcade at Kingpin's.
For a stress-free Sunday, mention My Brunch headquarters and receive 20% off brunch at Barron's. Make your Sunday stress-free, filled with great food, no cleanup, and most importantly, where family, friends, fun, and food come together for brunch at Barron's. Go to brunchatbarons.com. Again, brunch at BARONS.com. And don't forget to mention My Brunch headquarters for 20% off and experience your stress-free Sunday at brunchatbarons.com.
Brunch at Barron's, located inside Kingpin's off I-29 and 52nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Are you suffering from neuropathy? Do you experience stabbing pain, numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet? Are you tired of sleepless nights and avoiding life due to pain? If you've been diagnosed with neuropathy or are experiencing pain or numbness in your feet, pick up the phone and call us right now before it's too late at 701-929-7545. Again, that's 701-929-7545. Neuropathy is a very serious and progressive disease where your nerves start to break down. Eventually, it leads to balance problems, falls, complete loss of independence, and it can lead to amputation. Our program addresses the underlying causes and doesn't simply mask your symptoms with medication. In fact, many patients start experiencing relief from neuropathy symptoms within weeks. There's no surgery and no use of prescription drugs. Pick up the phone right now and call 701-929-7545. Call us today at Dakota Clinic of Chiropractic at 701-929-7545 today.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Oh, my God. And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. 1:52 in the afternoon, 50 degrees outside. It is a mild afternoon. Don't get used to it, though. We do have cooler weather coming our way tomorrow. We'll see some more rain showers. Rain showers right now on radar off to the northwest of the valley along a cold front that'll be pushing through. You'll notice wind switching to the northwest as we head towards evening, and then that rain will come to an end, and we'll be chilly overnight, mid-20s to upper 20s, and then cooler day tomorrow, breezy, but normal, if you want to call it that, mid to upper 30s, and then we'll briefly warm it up on Wednesday a bit, and then colder weather for Thanksgiving and beyond with 20s and 30s back in the forecast and overnight lows into the teens. So no big storms, though. Man, if we pull through the rest of this month, which it looks like we will, without any big snow events, we've only picked up 0.2 of an inch of snow so far this November. It's been not just snow, it's just been a dry November. And we'll be talking with Gary Lezak about this Tuesday, December 5th on our LRC special on how this bodes for not only the winter, but coming into spring and summer months. I mean, we've gone a month with hardly any precip. That does not bode well for the LRC, that's for sure. If you're into the ag community, but I'm sure if it's snowfall, this might make some people happy and might make some people cry. You can't please everybody, but it depends.
Fortunately, you can't.
Yeah, but we'll be talking with Gary about that coming up. Again, mark your calendars for Tuesday, December 5th, when we'll have our LRC special. We'll be talking about what the rest of the winter, and we'll even take a small peek into spring and what that means for our ag community as well. So hopefully that first part of the cycle, which was wet the first go-around, will provide us with the precip that we need for future 2, 3, and 4 cycles. Let's fingers crossed on that.
agree, Dean. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, and looking forward to conversating with you and Gary here coming up in just a couple weeks. Man, that time has just been flying by. I wasn't too long ago. It was a month away. Now it's
2 weeks from tomorrow.
2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Well,
why don't we dive back into the ag talk here? Because we have a couple of topics we need to get to. And one of those was the high interest rates and what the impact is on farm lending. So, Bridgette, what can you tell us about that? I know what it's been on housing lending, but what about ag lending? You muted, Bridgette.
Bridgette, you hit that. There you go. Hit that button there.
There you go.
Nothing.
And you're still muted. Very interesting. I don't think this has happened before to you.
Now, Bridgette's good at she's good at pushing buttons, but obviously it's the wrong buttons.
Yes, she is. You're pretty good at pushing some buttons too over there, guy.
Well, yeah, it depends which ones. That'd be one.
Indeed, that would be.
Oh man. Well,
no,
do we have you back, Bridgette?
How's now?
There you
Are we there?
go.
Now
There you go.
Okay. Okay, got it. I'm not really sure what happened there, but okay. All right, so back
Just
to
smash
interest
the
rates
button.
and so
It'll
forth.
work one of these times.
So much like anywhere else, just as you mentioned with homes and auto loans, farmers are also tapping more into their savings after some recent prosperous years instead of having to go in with high interest rates. And these are some of the highest rates we've seen since 2007. So lending activity is really weakened. That's influenced by 2 years of rising rates on the farm. When we talk about operating loans, that's what we're being affected by. And also there are times where you can take seed discounts, et cetera, for early purchases. Some of those have changed and they're not nearly as lucrative as they once were. Now, USDA is predicting quite a change in net farm income as well. And they're expecting it to be a 22% decline from the high in 2022 as we measure it in 2023. So that is also a big change when you look at what's going on income-wise for our farmers. Highest average interest rate loans again since 2007. And right now we're looking at like 8.34% is roughly about where it's at. Yeah. So because of the reduced farm lending, the volume of operating loans exceeding $1 million has decreased by half compared to the prior year, and the volume of smaller size loans has dropped by about 15%. So bankers don't love that, right? They make money on interest. They like lending you money. And right now, that is not necessarily the case for everyone.
Now, Bridgette, with the new farm bill, can they impose something that when interest rates do go, higher than normal like they are right now, that they put a cap on when lending to the ag community?
It's possible, but also keep in mind, we don't necessarily have a full farm bill yet. We have an extension of the farm bill that's going to last for a year. A lot of the advocacy work that has been done in order to get us to the point where we are could be lost. Like we have short memories. We forget all the work that went into getting us to this point for an extension, and then we have to continue to work for a whole year to keep up that level of interest. Could there be legislation introduced and added to the farm bill for that as a bit of a cap? That's always potentially there. There were some other last minute items that had been left out, if you will, of the extension that are trying to get back in. Things like feral swine eradication, money for urban agriculture, and a reserve fund for overseas food aid. So potentially things like that could be added in. I'm not a legislator. I'm not really sure I want to answer that question on their behalf. Maybe one of them will let us know. That'd be great.
There you go. Well, thanks, Bridgette. And that's going to wrap it up for us today. We'll hold on to the facts about pumpkins for your pie for tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. More fun things going on. Coming up next here on WDAY Radio, we have the Jay Thomas Show, which identifies as number 1. Everyone, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Our 7th annual November fundraiser is underway. Fix It